Now we transition to this part of the message. I don't know if this is good, bad, or just weird, but we are talking about all the fat belongs to the Lord, and I'll explain more of that in a minute, but we're going to do some fun stuff today. We're going to try to grill a steak and not set off the smoke alarm. So, full disclosure, at my own house, I pull the battery out before I start because it traumatizes our cat. So much so that he doesn't understand I've already taken the battery out. I cooked a steak the other day, and as soon as like that scent starts to fill the room, he hops down from like the couch and just goes upstairs. Like he's already, and I'm like, I've already taken the battery out. The smoke alarm's not going to go off. But he's just a cat. He doesn't understand that. So I've got the pan heating up now. The odd thing about cooking a steak in front of people is people are real judgy when it comes to grilling, right? Like there's a right way and a wrong way, and you never know if you're doing it the right way or the wrong way. So I'm going to enlist the help of Jason. He didn't know that, but I'm going to enlist the help of Jason. So I'll give you instruction. First thing I'm going to do is put a little oil in the pan. And of course, this is not like I'm not cooking on my normal range, so it's a little different, like you don't know exactly what the heat is. Now, because this is a bigger room than my kitchen and I'm wanting the scent to reach your spot, I'm going to throw some of the fat in there just so you guys can hear the sizzle and hopefully get the scent. All right. So in Revelation 4, it says, "Then I looked, I saw a door standing open in heaven." And what's happening is John has been sent to an island, and he is getting this vision of heaven. And then in Revelation, so he's seeing heaven as part of this series of visions that he's going to have. And in Revelation 5, it says, "Then I saw a lamb that looked as if it had been slaughtered." Now, right away, I'll pause there. A slaughtered lamb, from the very beginning of this chapter, it is referencing the sacrificial system. His primary and first audience would have been Jews, and so a slaughtered lamb is immediately a reference to the sacrificial system. And then he goes on and he says in verse 7, "He stepped forward and took the scroll from the right hand of the one sitting on the throne. And when he took the scroll, the four living beings," and this is a whole weird thing happening, and John is describing this vision that he's seeing of heaven. But what he's seeing is a worship service. All right, Jason, if you want to come up here and you can swirl that. What you can't see that I can see is the floor is not level in here because you see the oil is on that end. So.
First of all, I will say though, it's almost blasphemous to cook a steak in a frying pan.
It is cast iron. So if you want to go ahead and put that in there, and we're gonna set a timer. So we want this to. So who has the timer going? We want this for like, we'll do 4 minutes. And as it gets a bit smoky, we may cover it for a minute just to not set the smoke alarm off. Now in here I've got some butter, a little bit of onions, and a little bit of garlic. Did somebody get a timer going? Are we okay? You let us know. Now, so John continues on with this vision, and he says, I'll start at verse 11. "Then I looked again, and I heard the voices of thousands and millions of angels around the throne and of the living beings and the elders, and they sang in a mighty chorus. Worthy is the Lamb who was slaughtered to receive power and riches and wisdom and strength, and honor and glory and blessing. And then I heard every creature in heaven and on earth and under the earth and in the sea, they sang, blessing and honor and glory and power belong to the one sitting on the throne and to the Lamb forever and ever. And so this vision that he has in Revelation 5 is one of the biggest worship services you can imagine. Thousands upon millions of those worshiping Jesus as he's there, the slaughtered Lamb. And when I read that, the question that I have to ask of myself and that I hope you'll ask of yourself is simply, am I a part of that picture? Now, I know I'm not there in heaven, but am I a part of that picture of the millions upon millions of people who are worshiping Jesus? Am I a worshiper? What does that look like in my day-to-day life? Not the millions upon millions, but on an average Thursday morning, does my life look like a life of worship? When people see me, do they see a Christian? Do they see a religious person? Or do they see me as a worshiper of God? Because those can all be different things, right? Some people are identified just, you go to church, you were a Christian. Some people, you're a worshiper of God. It's getting kind of smoky, isn't it? Is it about time to turn it? Let's go ahead and turn it now. Now we'll just do, and if we need to, we'll go off with it. It has enough heat. We'll see if it. Let's go ahead and dump this in there, and let's get the scent. You guys can smell it, right? That's the whole point. All right, Jason, thank you. So in Leviticus 3, this is the verse that we're using in this series, All the Fat Belongs to the Lord. And it says, and this is a weird couple of verses, and so just in verse 14 it says, the priest must present this part of the offering as a special gift to the Lord. This includes all the fat around the internal organs, the 2 kidneys and the fat around them near the loins, and the long lobe of the liver. I didn't know that animals had a long lobe of their liver, but they do. These must be removed with the kidneys, and the priest will burn them on the altar. It is a special gift of food, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. All of the fat belongs to the Lord. That sacrifice, that's part of the peace offering. We talked about this last week. And the peace offering was a voluntary offering that people could bring to the Lord. And they would present their animal. And of course, this is in a system where animal sacrifice was normal. It's not normal for us today. But it was voluntary. It wasn't a required like Passover was a required thing. A lot of them, if you wanted your sins forgiven, it was required. This was a voluntary sacrifice. And it was you coming to God, making this sacrifice, saying, showing God your gratitude, showing God your worship, and bringing him something of value because you wanted to, not because you had to. What is my offering to God? Is it a pleasing aroma to him? I love the fact that in that verse it mentions this idea that it's a pleasing aroma to him. Do you know that they say like 80% of your taste is actually your smell? That makes sense? Like your scent, you need to look this up later about how crazy our scent of smell is. We can detect, I think, like 1 trillion different scents. And everybody has a unique sense of smell. Except identical twins, they say. How they know that, I don't know. Our scent of smell, as it routes through our brain, it routes differently than some of our other the other 4 senses. And because of that, our scent of smell, it can trigger a lot of things. It can change your mood, right? How many of you guys have smelled something really delicious and it's brightened your mood? How many of you guys have smelled something terrible and it's ruined your mood? In the vein of that verse where it talks about this sacrifice being a pleasing aroma to God, I have to wonder about myself. Is my life, is my worship, is what I offer to God a pleasing aroma to Him? See, in that last part of the verse where it says, all the fat belongs to the Lord, the fat was considered in the sacrificial system, the fat was considered the best part of the animal, the best part of the sacrifice. And so that phrase really means, in how we would determine to say it today, like it's basically us saying God deserves our best. When they would bring that sacrifice and the fat was offered, they were offering the best. And it was a pleasing aroma to God. See, to give God our best is to offer our whole heart in worship. Worship can be through song. We sang, and that is one of the most common ways we worship. It's a great way to worship. But worship isn't relegated to just song. Worship is really the aroma of our life. Worship is this idea that we come and we offer something of us to God to give Him glory. And that's what worship is. You can sing it, or you can say it, or you can live it, but worship is us offering our best to Him because He deserves it. It's our life giving glory to God because He deserves it. I'm not rich. I don't have a $1 trillion. I'm not famous. I don't have multiple houses anymore. I had 2 houses for a stretch this last year. It was terrible. 0 stars. But if I had all of that stuff, is Elon Musk still the richest man in the world? If I was his sole beneficiary and he crashed his car today, and I inherited all of his money, and then with that I would have gotten famous probably, right? If you inherit all of his money, you all of a sudden are famous too. Do you know what God would still want from me? My heart. He would still just want my heart. He would still want my life, my Monday through Friday. He would want my life to be a pleasing aroma to Him. See, worship starts with a humbled heart or a broken heart. Now, this is a ribeye steak. You don't pound a ribeye steak. It's naturally tender. I don't know if it's tender how we cooked it today, because but to come to God and worship Him, we come in humility or we come in brokenness. It's one of those two. And often in the course of your life, it's going to be both, depending on the season you're in. And that's what worship is. It's us coming with a humbled or broken heart to offer our best to God. That our life would be a pleasing aroma to Him. That the way we live, the way we speak, the way we treat others would be a pleasing aroma to God. I want my worship to make God's mouth water. Right? You ever been someplace where whatever they're cooking just makes your mouth water? You just can't wait to have it. You can't wait to have more of it. That's what I want my worship to be for God. Where when God looks out and sees the millions upon millions of people, and as He is receiving worship from the millions upon millions, I want my worship to make His mouth water. I want my life to be a pleasing aroma. I want my worship to make my neighbors wish they were grilling. You guys have all done that, right? You come home and you can tell the neighbors are grilling. I mean, some of you live in the country, your neighbors are way down the road. But you've been in the neighborhood, right? You can, our nose, our incredibly awesome sense of smell, we can tell, oh, that's charcoal. Somebody's grilling. When we lived in Indiana, the senior pastor at the church that we worked at, his daughter and her husband and family lived in the house next door to his. And we were over at the senior pastor's house, and from kind of their dining room, you could look out and you could see into his daughter's backyard and in their patio area. And so they were starting to grill. And so he had gone out and put like some brats and some chicken and some stuff on the grill. And then we're sitting in the house here, looking into the neighbor's house and see him put the stuff on the grill, and then he goes back in to get something, do something we don't know. And immediately we had one of those good ideas, like let's mess with them. And so we ran out quick and we took about half his meat off the grill and brought it back to the other house. And then we watched. And a minute later he comes out and he opens his grill and he is so confused. Like, did I forget to put the meat on? Or what? Like it took him a minute to figure out what was going on. And then he realized who was over at the neighbors and the kind of character that we are, you know. And he came over and he's like, real funny, guys. And we turned his food back to him and scolded him for grilling without inviting us and told him that's what he gets, you know. But I want my worship to make the neighbors wish they were grilling. I want my life to look so radically different that when people see me, they don't see me as much as they see Jesus and my worship of him. That when they see me, my life gives off a pleasing aroma. When they're around me, they catch the scent of Jesus. When they're around me, they can see the worship just rolling off of me like smoke. That when they're around me, my life smells like somebody who is in love with Jesus. Somebody who is willing to give him my best. On the flip side of that, I need to guard my heart so that what the neighbors do doesn't make me stop worshiping. I want my life to be so settled and set on my love for Jesus that it casts an aroma their direction, but I don't want the aroma of their life, if it's different than mine, to cause me to stop. Because that happens sometimes. Worship should be the pleasing aroma of our life. That no matter where we are, what we're doing, who we're around, our life has a scent to it. And often when you say something like that, our brain goes to a negative, right? How many of you have ever been around somebody who had a scent to them in a negative way, right? Or if you've been out working in the yard and you need a shower. So take those thoughts of bad smells and kind of set those aside right now. I want my life to be a pleasing smell, a pleasing aroma. That no matter where I go, no matter what I do, the people in my vicinity, the people who are around me, as I leave, they can still smell the worship. Right? The scent lingers, right? And that's often a negative thing, right? You can do something negative and walk out of the room, and I'm not saying this ever happens in my house, then your spouse can walk into the room and start using the air freshener. Because the scent lingers. Right? Am I wrong? Now, think of a positive smell. Banana bread, chocolate chip cookies, brownies, a steak, and how that positive scent can linger. You ever cook something and you leave the house and you come back and your kitchen's been closed and you walk in and you still smell whatever you'd cooked when you left? And hopefully like it was banana bread and you walk in and it's like, oh, it still smells like banana bread. This is awesome. Because banana bread is good. If you're looking to offload some banana bread, let me know. But our worship life, our relationship with Jesus should leave a scent like that so that when we leave the room, what people are saying is something different about Jordan. When I'm around him, there's a positivity, there's a peace. He knows truth. There is something about how he lives and who he worships. I just want more of whatever he has. Our life should be that for other people. That when we leave the room still has the aroma of our worship, of our love for Jesus. Leviticus 3:16, and the priest will burn them on the altar. It is a pleasing gift of food, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. All of the fat belongs to the Lord. It's a picture of somebody offering something of value to God. It's a picture of worship. It's us giving him our best. And it's a pleasing aroma to God. And I would argue it's a pleasing aroma to the people around us. So this week, I challenge you, ask yourself, how do I smell? We should do that all the time, right? Like, have I put deodorant on today? Did I take a shower? But beyond the hygiene part of it, right, it's camp season. Teens are going to be at camp. You guys right there, heading to camp? Heading to camp today? You're heading to camp later this summer? Something happens at camp, especially in the men's quarters, and it's usually not always positive. When mom isn't there to say, take a shower, sometimes you're so busy you just don't have time. So we're always, as adults, we learn to ask ourselves, what do I smell like today? Did I put on deodorant? You've had a day like that where you leave the house and you're like, oh no. I swear I'm not the only guy whose wife carries a little deodorant in her purse, right? Some of you are like, oh, that's a good idea. But seriously, ask yourself this week, what does my life smell like? Is my life a pleasing aroma to the Lord? Do I smell of worship? Do I smell of a steak that would have been better on the grill outside? And if you can't say yes, then ask how. Ask God, how do I make my life a pleasing aroma to you? How do I begin to offer my best to you? And I know you guys are smart, and you'll figure it out. It's a humble heart or a broken heart. And you'll come to him and you'll figure it out. And your life will begin to be a pleasing aroma.